first and foremost, as I said, I have to thank Jesus Christ for being here. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I can't tell you there's countless times where I shouldn't be sitting here today. So if only but for him, I wouldn't be.
Welcome to the Champions of Change podcast.
Hi, I'm Curt McAdams. I'm the marketing director for Champions of Change. And today we've got Jake Shelley, who is the product manager for Champions of Change. Jake, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself? Tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name's Jake Shelley. I'm project manager here for Champions of Change, and I live in Xenia, Ohio. I'm also the housing director for a program called Emerge Recovery and Trade Initiative, and just proud to be here with you.
So this is our first episode of the podcast for Champions of Change, which I think is called the Champions of Change podcast. Really, really a difficult title to get to, huh? But we wanted to talk to Jake today. He's had some really nice things said about him recently, and we wanted to kind of celebrate that and talk to him about what's happened. First, why don't you tell us a little about why you're involved in Champions of Change?
Yeah, so when I first started at Emerge Recovery and Trade, I met a man called Jeff Sorrell, who was the president, the CEO, the executive director, and all the things of Champions of Change.
Creative mind,
yeah,
all that stuff.
And he kind of put it on his heart, to tell me exactly what he wanted to do with this, about helping people, having a fellowship of brothers that reached out and helped the communities out that we serve. So with me, that's very important to me because it's what I do daily with working with other men, connecting them with community resources, just community people. So when he brought the idea to me about, creating Champions of Change, I was like, absolutely, reaching out, helping our community in whatever way we can by cleaning stuff up, volunteering our time, our talents, and our treasure to them. So
I'm going to add a little bit to that for my involvement in Champions of Change. I've known Jeff for years. I don't know if all the other directors know, he actually gave my wife away at our wedding. So we're both very close to him and Valerie. For me, it's not only the service, but we can work with work with churches and groups that maybe don't have big men's groups and have them use Champions of Change as an avenue to help for their service and kind of get that economy of scale of getting enough men together to do some things. And we've already done some projects that are really good. I know you're involved in trying to do some more. And I think we're going to do some really great things around not just Xenia as a community, but the Dayton area as a community. And I really look forward to a lot of that.
Yeah, so some of the biggest, some of the biggest things that we do, I think is the most important, especially like with my job and with anything, is just being able to plant seeds in the community, plant seeds in the fellowship with our brothers, and just trying to create as many connections as we possibly can through it. So.
And be real while we're doing it. We get together, we have a good time, and we talk through what we need to, but we have fun. And just like any other guys, we kind of joke around a little bit. And I really enjoy the group. I wish I could get to more of the breakfast, and I need to do my grocery shopping at a different time to do that. But
absolutely. I'm not 100% with it either.
Let's talk a little bit about what you do outside of Champions of Change, because your whole life is really kind of service oriented, which is a real great example to other men, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do I'm the housing director for a place called Emerge Recovery and Trade Initiative. We serve men right now who are currently in addiction. We have an on-site trade school. We try to help, people get through and come from the streets, come in. We get them in bed. We try to get them stabilized into treatment. And after they go through certain stages and everything, they'll have an opportunity of maybe learning a trade and being able to have a viable career moving forward. I call it like pathways of purpose. Not only people need kind of a purpose to recovery. Like it's more than just being sober or anything. You got to have goals, and you got to have attainable goals. So that's an important thing with what we do there.
You see so many recovery programs that are they kind of swap one thing for another. But it sounds like instead it's really putting energies towards productive, life things, which is great, I think.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Trying to get men connected with number one, a purpose in life, and then trying to get them connected with just the right people in their life too. I know me sitting here today, I wouldn't be here today with all the accolades and all the things if I didn't have good people in my life that supported me, that told me the truth, and they're probably a lot more smarter than me and I listened to.
Well, it's really easy for men, I think, in particular, just to kind of live life alone without other men there to support them. I think the group with Champions of Change, Jeff has always been that for me through several different avenues, and I've got other men in my life too that give me that connection where I don't have to think I've got to figure everything out and be alone. And so I think it's great to have those avenues and to offer the things that you're doing as part of just your everyday life. So recently you've gotten some really great recognition for what you've been doing. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it feels good. I remember I got an email at work, and I thought it was one of those phishing emails, or like where you won the the publishing clearinghouse stuff or something. But it came through. It said I was nominated, and I was recommended and then nominated for the MHRB Person of the Year award. So at first I thought it was a big joke. It was just one of the phishing emails and everything. So I go to the main campus, and I go up to the front office, and then I had the CEO and a couple of them kind of jump out on me like, "Congratulations!" I was like, "Oh, it's real." Okay, okay. So yeah, the work and all my colleagues nominated me for Person of the Year. So I guess I got to get that. Never been really nominated for anything in my life, or actually won it either. So it's nice to be recognized and then kind of honored, by people that It's nice to be seen for all the work that you do put in, even though that's not why you do it. So
I think there have been a couple articles out, kind of featuring you about this.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like the ceremony. There had to be a ceremony, right?
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
had to give you the award.
Yeah. So yeah, going to Springfield where they had the ceremony. There's there were a bunch of awards that night. A lot of great people got awards for a lot of great causes that they've been in, and a lot of contributions. So while I was at the award, there's some of the founders were there of Emerge Recovery and Trade. My CEO, of course, Elaine Bonner, our philanthropist, that's there. And, Elaine actually got up there when they called my name to say a lot of good stuff about me, and was actually the one that actually gave me the award. So that was real meaningful to me. Me and Elaine have been there pretty much almost since the very beginning. She's been there 3 years. I've been there 4. We've been through a lot of things together, seen a lot of things, a lot of change happen. So her giving me the award was pretty amazing. Yeah.
So did they have a red carpet for you?
No red carpet.
No red
They
carpet?
did give us dinner, though. They did give us dinner.
Was it a good dinner? Because sometimes
It was a
those
good
big
dinner.
dinners. Good,
Yeah.
good. So you had to give a little bit of an acceptance speech.
I did. I should probably send this to you and Jim and all of them. First and foremost, as I said, I have to thank Jesus Christ for being here. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I can't tell you there's countless times where I shouldn't be sitting here today. So if only but for him, I wouldn't be. So that was the first and foremost. And then really just getting to thank some of the founders and our CEO and people that have stood beside me along the road here. Just thanking them for seeing me and the things that I contributed to the cause. And even though, as I said, that's not really why we do anything, but it's nice to be seen, though.
Well, and I agree. You're not the type of person that you're not doing it for recognition. Like you said, it's the first time you'd been nominated at all. Of course, you got to be nominated to win, so you'd never won either. But that's not the reason to do it. It's just nice to get the recognition, partly because it helps inspire other people too. So at some point in your life, did you realize you were going to be an inspiration to other people?
No, somebody would have told me, 7 years ago, I'd be standing, sitting where I am now with all the people that support me around me. I probably would have laughed at you. There's no way, looking back at it now, like there's no way I would dream I'd be here. And it could only be God, and, kind of the way that God even worked in me throughout this whole thing. It wasn't so aha moment or anything, but he healed something inside me that no humanly thing possibly could touch. And that's my heart, with me, some of my stories, I got put in a children's home when I was 11 years old, and pretty much in the streets since I was 14 years old. And there's a whole lot of, jails, institutions, and, prisons involved in it. So it's just the depths of hurt, anger, abandonment, and pain that was inside it, just the depths of that. I didn't think no human thing could ever touch it. And that's how Jesus proved he was real to me, is that he healed that part of me and me for me to be able to be here today. And just, 7 short years, I went from basically being in a treatment program myself, being 30 or more of them, to now being a housing director of a program I helped build. So I feel like he kind
Which
of
means you know how they're being affected by it, which
no,
is great.
absolutely. Absolutely. So
And I think the great thing about this recognition is it had nothing to do with any of that. It was just you where you are today, where God has you today. And I think it's great that you've gotten the recognition.
no, absolutely.
And I appreciate you being here today. I hope you continue to be an inspiration. I know you will be, but I hope people see this and think, I need to find out more about it. Both Champions of Change and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Well, Jake, thanks a lot for being here today. Your story is an inspiration to a lot of people. It already has been. It will be even more so. Are there any last words you'd like to leave the viewers/listeners
Yeah,
with?
absolutely. If anyone out here is listening, would love to come along beside us and volunteer for a project or donate to a cause for a project, we'd love to have you. Champions of Change is a lot more than just doing these two. We'd like to meet up. We'd like to have a fellowship and Bible study. So yeah, if you would like to learn any more about it, please visit us at championsofchange.org on Facebook or the website. That would be great.
Yeah, and we meet a couple Saturdays a month for
Yep.
coffee and Xenia. If people would like to come to that, there's room and good
Yeah,
coffee
absolutely.
at the same time.
All right.
good
Blueberry
people.
Cafe, Kava House.
All right.
Love to see you there.
Yep. So that's the first installment of the Champions of Change podcast featuring Jake. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
guys.
Appreciate it.
See the need, be the change. We are the champions of change.
All right. So any past, he kind of went away. You still there, Jake? All right. So I'll let you edit this, Jim, if you hear this.